Assalamualaikum badi ngulungal be kontom ba fa be ko welcome back to Active TV muruta nan ko daga pour kana update odi alla ko lam yalon ko wolle be ke kan Gambia banko kan kiti yoba kerin Gambia banko kan Sanna Manjang nalbe hakilo ba kan Gambia man sakunda ya muta Senegal Casamance ya samba Gambia banko kan ya nyatlindi luwala ka kitindi ko lam yalon ko awle ke Gambia banko kan modi amuta kiti bonto e ka famu yoko Tamsir Jassey mi yalon ko senior police officer matinu Gambia banko kan ya jamela wato akira moti mi yalon ko science tende atalam police advisor to the inspector general of police Gambia banko kan police ol bela keba atalaka yamar security la karola Gambia banko kan Tamsir Jassey adiamu danalbe hakilo ba kan 2006 kudeta mi yalon ka keta Gambia banko kan ya kumandi ka nyatlindi telela GRTS pradiam kudeta nyina amna lonje adiamuta ko lam yalon ko wala be dending kudeta lam yalon ko keta Gambia banko kan ko dul cham la kudeta adiamuta ko la ka Gambia be kala mutande ate ko mo lonje mbodi am bonde janne baro ko la anare ka mot mi yalon ko ye kitio te ala karola yamuta ya soron Gambia banko kan ya jamena ta yam fa atara keta mot mi yalon ko ya komandi pour Sanna Manjang na kitio amuna lonje anum fana mun kola kula la tata kan adiamata kuma jamal fo kaytandi ko Sanna Manjang atilimbali alkala andum birang akananan ka tilimbali alkala ani mol mun nata nyola Musa Jamme bol konole Michael Sankoria be kono ani mo kotan li siada ay mul be to fa kiti bongoto bari mbala diamo la moy la kuma kan mi yalon ko awle banke biri yamata 2600 kono iko ya kemoti mi yalon ko ya nakindi kulita bala mi yalon ko leketa Gambia banko kan pour que ya jamela masakunda boyndi colonel nduru chamla nyaton kaya koto mbodi amo la moyla ngamuruna.
My name is Tamsir Jassey. I serve as police advisor and Deputy Inspector General of Police as well as Director General of Immigration. The knowledge I have of this incident, it's rather limited, and I was able to get this information at the very last minute. Personally, when I looked at the situation, it looked to me more like there was a plan, but that was never executed. I was informed of this whole thing by Mr. Ndur Cham, whom I have known through the services whilst I was serving, that he had more like a desire than a plan to overthrow, to change the government. The change of government that he explained to me he wanted to do was more like just changing the leadership, because he said to me he wanted to leave everything as it is. The political parties, the people holding their positions, and even he even said the APRs should be allowed to continue as a party, and the constitution will not be suspended, and there will be no commissions of inquiry, and life would just go on. I told him, well, what means do you plan on doing this? And he gave me the assurance that the whole military was behind him. And I said, well, if the whole military is behind you, and Tamsir Jassey certainly cannot stop you. And then later on he mentioned about stopping communication during, how he can go about stopping communication during the act. And one of the major things he mentioned to me that I had put some significance was when he one day said to me that if they should do this, they'll have to cut off communication and they'll have to the fiber optic. I said to him, no. I mean, if you do that, you're destroying the country. You're not. You are helping. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows that these things have switches. So instead of cutting this whole thing, the army is behind you, please switch them off instead of cutting the fiber optic cable, because I know these cables are very expensive and it will take a long time before you can restore telecommunication services. And he went about his way and until the very day when he called me and said they're going to do it. And that was around about 6 o'clock that he told me that they were going to do it, and then, no, he called me about 3 o'clock and said they were going to do it, and then 2-3 hours later he called me and said, you know what, we are abandoning this thing. We're not even going to get started because it has Lam Tombong Tamba had sent the message to Mauritania. So I told him, well, that's the best thing you can do. You have not even started it. No one is hurt. Nothing is destroyed. So maybe that's less of a problem than if you had tried to force your way through. So what are you going to do now? So he said, I don't know. So he went away. That was on the phone, hung up. And then I was in my house with my wife and children, and then he called again and said that someone had informed him that he was to be arrested and that he was on the run. And at that point, I began to realize the seriousness of the situation. And then I discussed it with my wife. I said, this is what has been happening. This guy had told me this, and now this is happening. Then my wife was very concerned and said, I think you better go and speak to the American ambassador as a U.S. citizen, which I did. I went, I told him about this, and he said to me, go home, and if the authorities ask you, if you're questioned, cooperate with them. Tell them what you know. And I was picked up, and I came here, and I told them what I know. Here right now, regret, sorrow is what I feel. This was on Wednesday evening at between 5:30 and 6. It was Mr. Ndourcham that I transported to Kujube, which later on I found out was actually out in Senegal, and I came back. I did it because I said, okay, it's a way out for both of us. When we got there, I decided, no, I am coming to face the consequences, and I came back. To that issue of this external liaison. When Ndourcham, this was about 2 months ago, which was, about 2 months ago, which was the initial thing he told me was, we have the border problem between the Gambia and Senegal. It's gone to such a point that it's affecting both countries economically and so many other ways. And I remember distinctly telling him that the cost of cooking gas has gone up in both countries so much so that business people in restaurants don't even make a profit now. They spend it all on cooking gas. And he said to me, I want to send a message to the Senegalese embassy, to the Senegalese High Commission, that the politics, the security services in the Gambia and Senegal should continue working smoothly together and not mind about let the politicians sort out their political issues. Because at these borders, it is security personnel that stand there. If the security personnel facilitate movement, there will be smooth cooperation. And he wanted me to go to the Senegalese ambassador and informally just discuss this with him. And I asked him, how come you can't do that? And he said, I'm not too sure if that is in line with Gambian government policy, but I just want them to know this. So I went there. It took me a while before I was able to finally go there and get an appointment. I went in, I gave my name and all my information, and it was about 3-4 days later they called me and said, yes, you had requested a meeting with the ambassador, you can come. And I went in, I greeted the ambassador, and before I started to tell him, he said, wait, let me call a witness. So he called somebody else who came in and sat down, and I said to him, well, Ndourcham had asked me, Mr. Ndourcham had asked me to formally to informally and personally come to you and explain to you that what is happening in the border, the security services of both countries should work together to smoothen it. And the ambassador himself had at first expressed surprise as to why I would be the one to convey such a message. And I told him, I said, Nur Cham would find a way of officializing this, he says. But this, for now, this is what he had asked me to do, and I would like for you to understand that he's seeking a cooperation between the two securities, and the politicians can take care of their problem, and that the situation in Gambia and Senegal is becoming dangerous in his point of view. So this was his concern. The ambassador listened to me, surprisingly. He said, well, then he just elaborated on the need for closer relationship, just like you would talk to a Senegalese neighbor about, it's true, the two countries are so close together, we really should come together, just on that general term. He spoke generally and said that, okay, I will contact you. I left my number, because you leave your number there anyway when you go. And then it was after a while, about 4 days or 5 days later, I got a call from someone who said he was in Senegal, who identified himself as Pape Sek, and said, my superior gave me your name and number. So I just called to say hello, I will call back. And I told Nur Cham that instead of the ambassador calling me, it is this man who is calling me from Senegal. So I gave Nur Cham that information. He said Pape Sek might be in intelligence.
Where?
In Senegal, military intelligence, he said. It was Mr. Cham who gave me the information that this Pape Sek would give him money. He requested the money because I asked him, why is it that you want money from anybody? And he said, the senior officers in the military, nobody is, because what he was saying was, no member of the military is going to be in the government. It would be left purely to the ongoing civilian government, and so on and so forth. And that at least if these senior officers are paid money, it would be some kind of a compensation, not to request, what do you call it, request positions in the government, because the government was supposed to just continue as it is with civilians. He said, if I had $1 million, but to me that was just like daydreaming. I mean, who is going to give him $1 million? What Nur Cham had said was, for me, I had always expressed to him that my interest is business. He said, oh, but you are good in law enforcement, and the IGP, Sonko, is a very good soldier, whom I would really like to promote and transfer back into the army, because most of the senior people in the army are gone. This is what he told me.
Mbadingulu nyinam Tamsir Jassey mi yalon ko science and atalam advisor to the Inspector General Police Gambia Banko kan police wala keba ataka yamari Gambia Banko kan senior police officer la matinu Gambia Banko kan a nyatlindi kitiola ya nyatlindi kitiola kadiamu Sanna Manjang wala Gambia Banko kan ay tandi ko Sanna Manjang molti mi yalon ko ay tilimbali ya balatiling ate famala ka muta ka kido bulada kono ka tilimbali asifa be kala ka lapi atele fana ndiamuta pour ka sede andro ke kitio la mi yalon ko be ke kan Gambia Banko kan Sanna Manjang kitio al comment section ko ali afanya le mune mira. This is Active TV.